Ali, Ali, Ali. La, 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 la. Good morning, everybody. Or good afternoon and good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. Welcome again. Welcome to another I Am Cameroon Saturday show. Really looking forward to an exciting time with you all in the next 1 hour as we focus on a topic which I think will always be necessary. The mindset is key to how we grow as individuals. The mindset is key to how we change the world. So today we're going to be focusing on having that conversation about the mindset really being the pathway to our personal growth and growth as a community. And I'm looking forward to the conversations that we're going to be having. Today, we're actually broadcasting the show on YouTube. I'm hoping that we will be able to reach many more people. This gives also an opportunity for those who are not subscribers to our YouTube channel to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as share it with friends and family, because knowledge is power. The more we can put knowledge in the hands of people, the better. So let me begin. Yes. It's everything. Okay, I heard some sound in the background. I hope that everything is fine. My name is Ari Benson. I'm president of the I Am Cameroon movement. And the movement I see that I'm still getting feedback in the background. Is that okay? I don't know where that's coming from.
You're okay.
Okay. As I said, my name is Ari Benson, president of I Am Cameroon. I seem to wear many hats, and sometimes I get confused on which podium I am on. Today, I just like to talk a little bit about the movement. I Am Cameroon movement was founded in 2013, and it's an idea that is going to leave more than any one of us. It's really an idea which has as a vision for every Cameroonian to take ownership and action for the nation Cameroon. And to do this, we have a mission, which is to educate, inspire, and engage Cameroonians to assume and accept responsibility for the future of the nation. It is what we do every other Saturday when we come to have these conversations. It's all about educating ourselves and the people around us, inspiring each other, and engaging each other to take action, to do little things that may end up making a big difference for the lives of people around us, for our own lives as well, and for that of our country. Today, like every other day, we want to begin with a proverb, and we thought that this was very apt for today, because it says, if you are not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I'm going to repeat it. If you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And we say this because we come from a country that is really plagued with challenges. Yes, it has a lot of problems that need to be solved. But who needs to solve those problems? And I know that every community, it's Bill Gates who spoke about the three-legged stool of every community. There is the government, there is corporations, and there's the civil society. Any one of these stools that is not, of these legs of the stool that is not performing its function, that stool cannot stand. So we have great responsibility. We have almost equal responsibility as the corporations or businesses in our community have to play our part in finding solutions to the complex challenges that our country faces. That's why we do this. We're putting our time and efforts to have these conversations with audiences every other Saturday. And every day we've come to this, we walk away having learned something. In the last 5 weeks, we've been talking about data and really focusing, the last 5 shows, focusing on informing people about data and inspiring people about how data can be transformative. And so we came out with some lessons learned as we move on with the different conversations. But out of that data series and those conversations that we had, we picked up 5 things that we thought we should summarize with everyone as we move on to have a conversation today. 5 things that we learned is that data is now defined as an asset for corporations, small and big, which means that data is no longer just numbers on a computer. It's actually moving its way into the balance sheet of corporations, and they're seeing it as an asset, just as they would count the buildings that they have or the cars that they have. 2, that data leads to informed decisions, that we need to make decisions. You need to be informed by something, and data is a good way to do that. 3, we spoke a little bit, we used agriculture as an example to show how data can impact agriculture. And we know that data is the future of agriculture. And in the context of Cameroon and probably Africa, we know that the agriculture is the basis on which our economies are going to thrive. So data is the future of agriculture. 4, that everyone can leverage data, no matter how educated you are or uneducated you are, that you can lean on data to drive the decisions that you make. And it starts from very small and practical things, whether it's writing in a ledger, to using sophisticated equipment like computers and artificial intelligence. And that data is a fast path to prosperity, that for the millions of people who live in our country who are in poverty, this could be a path for them to move from poverty to prosperity by just being able to understand the opportunity that data presents and capitalize on it. Then we have something intriguing that I'm going to turn over to Mamwa to talk about, which really sums up some of the things that we're talking here about data. Mamwa, do you want to take a shot at that?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us again today on the I Am Cameroon show. My name is Mamwa Jammeh, and I am going to be your host for this session. We look forward to having a great and interactive session as always. It's always great that you take time off your busy schedules and just listen to what we have to say here on the I Am Cameroon platform. And Ari just summed up the last 5 shows that we had on data. We're looking forward to having more sessions on data as we go forward. But today we'll be talking about mindset change, which is the gateway to personal and community growth. But before we get to that, I just wanted to pull up this little data analysis on the screen and just kind of interpret it, how data functions in our world today. And we always said during the last 5 series, we talked about how important data was and how data is the new gold. So here we have some representation of data, which is just random data collected on the very first one that we're seeing. We have random data that is collected, and then it becomes information depending on how we interpret that data. And for you to gain knowledge on what data you have collected, you link that data to get knowledge about a particular thing you're trying to understand, a particular trend you're trying to understand a little better. And when you do understand that data, you move on to getting insight on that data. How does that data impact how tomatoes are sold? We had Roland Famundem tell us about tomato sales and planting in Cameroon. And through that data that has been collected with the planting of tomato, you become more knowledgeable and wise about how to go about it. So we move over to wisdom. And depending on how that data is interpreted by different people, it might just lead up to a conspiracy theory. Now we know how big misinformation is in the world today. We are in this Aquarian age where there's information everywhere. It depends on how you look and interpret that information for you to be able to have a better understanding of trends that have taken place and how the future is going to be shaped. Okay, so that said, we're just going to move on into our show. Thank you so much for being here. As Ari said, we're broadcasting today on YouTube as well. For viewers on Facebook, we're very grateful that you're there with us. Please, if you do have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to put those in the chat or in the link on Facebook. For our guests here on the Zoom show, please do enter your feedback in the Q&A section. We could also pull some information from the chat. So that said, today we're talking about mindset change, the gateway to personal and community growth. And we'll be engaging our panelists here on I Am Cameroon to talk about what it means to have a mindset change. What is a mindset change? Here on I Am Cameroon, we're here to inspire, educate, and engage Cameroonians on how we can take ownership in making our country better, making our individual communities better. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We've been saying this always, and we'll continue saying this. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. And for us to do that, we here on I Am Cameroon are I Am Cameroon because we have a deep love for our heritage and our collective purpose. The generalizations that stem from our individual reality do not define the experience of an entire collective. Let us try as much as we can not to have our past poison our minds or turn us into victims at the sight of positivity. We're calling on every Cameroonian, every single one of you, to join the I Am Cameroon movement for us to make the change that is necessary. Bring your ideas, bring your support. We need people, we need experts in every field to help us build the Cameroon that we want. So that said, I'm just going to start off. I'm going to go over to, I'm going to start off with you, Tabe. Oh, Tabe just went off camera. Let me see. I'm going to start off with Phil. You're okay. Here. You're there. Okay. So I'm going to start off with Tabe Takang. Tabe Masse. Thank you, Tabe. Thank you so much. We'll start off with Tabe Masse, who is a part of the board of directors of I Am Cameroon. So just tell us, Tabe, to you, what is mindset change?
Thank you so much, Mamwe, and thank you to all of our viewers all over the world, every time zone. To me, mindset change is where you start, right? We know that as a people, as Cameroonians, we are a social group. We have ex-student associations. We have country meetings. So we already know that we have something. We already know that we are social beings, we come together and that we do small things. So we're not building from scratch. So when I'm talking about a mindset change, to me, it is building on what we already have. We already have ways. I'm in Florida today. I came to see, a longtime childhood friend because we're social beings. So changing our mindset from the small jangy groups, from the small country groups, from the ex-student association into just something a little bigger, into the collective good. Now, we're not talking about waiting for the government, as Mamwe said. We're not talking about waiting for that NGO from the United States or that parastatal or that foreign company, America, we're not waiting for them. We're talking about us as Cameroonians who already have a foundation to just pivot just ever so slightly, not too much, ever so slightly, and start thinking, what is it that we can do together to advance ourselves? What is it? And I am Cameroon has already done some things during COVID, and I'm sure some other panelists are going to talk about that. That was a mindset change when we did not wait for someone else to come help us with PPE, come help us with sanitizers. Cameroonians in the diaspora and even Cameroonians back in Cameroon came together and quickly did some things to help with COVID prevention. So for me, mindset change is we're not starting from scratch. All I'm suggesting is we add a little bit more to start saying, what about doing things for people we do not know? What about doing for that collective good, not just your country group or your ex-student association? Something for that hospital, something for the road, a cleanup day. So I want to say we're not going to be starting from scratch. I think the mindset has already started changing. It is now just to put the infrastructure, to put the idea, because the idea is a power, just to put the idea out there that when we can all stand behind an idea, we can all stand behind, what the board of I Am Cameroon is doing, what Are, the founder who thought of this I Am Cameroon, that idea that we are what we're looking for. And so I am just calling on every single one of you to just latch onto one idea, just one thing that is not threatening, one thing that you can do and that you can tap the next person. Because you see, we can all do something as individuals, but I'm asking us to go back to what we know, social media, we have school, we have, and add 1 or 2 more people, then it becomes 10 people to latch onto an idea that you can then stand behind as a group. It is easy to do things alone and go alone, but as Ari used to say, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go as a group. And so I am calling on all of us to go far for Cameroon, for our motherland. We're all scattered all over the world, but for that motherland, we can do something. Even if we do not necessarily benefit from it in our lifetimes, we will do something that would advance the motherland just slightly from what it is today. Thank you.
Thank you, Tave. Thank you. It's all about believing in our heritage. That's why we're here on I Am Cameroon. We're here to make collective efforts to actually make the change that we need. We've waited for so long. It's like we cannot sit back and be have a passive response to a community that doesn't change. If the community has not changed in the last years, we are the ones who need to come forward and make that change through collective effort and input. I'm going to call on Clarence next. Clarence is also a member of the board of directors, and after Clarence, I'll call you Judith. Judith, it's nice to have you here. I'll call Judith to come and talk to us. So Clarence, what mindset change mean to you?
Yeah, apologies. I was hoping to be home by now and join my video, but I'm still driving. So just bear with me if the audio is choppy. No, for me, mine's have been 3 things. And maybe firstly, big thanks to everyone who made the time to be on the show today. I know we're all super busy, but making time to come on a call like this to really brainstorm ideas, discuss ways in which we can continue to make progress in our homeland country is amazing. And that is actually, I would say, the first aspect of mindset change. Like my predecessor speaker shared, it's already begun. It's happening. It's happening in our various alumni, in our various Jangis. And it's really, how do we take all these efforts that are happening and amplify it to bring the collective voice of more of our fellow brothers and sisters and move Cameroon to the next level. So that's the first thing, is really how do we come together and continue to make this a much more intentional and exponential effort, so we can aspire to get to a better place as a community and a country. The second one, and for me, that's the power of the mindset change. It's really when you have the collective effort of people beginning to believe what they thought was impossible. And if you go back to a good example, if you go back in history and look at a country like, just take maybe Singapore or look at Dubai. If you go back 20, 30, 40 years ago, they were in a very different place 40, 50 years ago. And if you look at where they are today, everyone goes to Dubai. If you look at Singapore, so if you look around the globe, you see many examples of where that mindset change began slowly, but then as momentum built, you saw the exponential impact in the community, and that really transformed lives once and for all. So that mindset change is really critical, and it begins with a deep sense of belief that together and collectively, we can get to a much better place, even if we cannot see it. And maybe you can reference here the example, the biblical example of having faith, where you believe in things that you don't see. And I think that for me is the power of the mindset shift, is that we can aspire to something which may be difficult to see, but as we begin to really imagine what that future could look like and begin to recondition our mind to let go of the past and think about a better future, that begins to shift that mindset. That's the second one. The third one, for me, it's really pragmatic examples of doing. I think if we look around our community, there are so many examples, and as we walk through this last data series, that we came across several examples of entrepreneurs, of solutions that people are doing that are really changing how we do business. Whether it's in the agriculture field, it's how we communicate, it's how we do financial transactions, like Momo. So some of the small examples that is beginning to happen both here and back home is really inspiring. And if we can latch on those, we can really keep building on those momentum and see an exponential change as we go along. Those are my few thoughts. And again, big thanks to everyone joining today's show.
Thank you, Clarence. Thank you for your input. And it is crucial, as you said, it is very important that we understand what it is that I Am Cameroon is trying to do here or doing already here. We have to have deep internal conversations about who we are, where we belong, and how we can unlock our potential through unity and actions. That is why we're here on I Am Cameroon. And I'm going to call on Judith next. Judith, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Judith Fang, and thank you for having me. As one of the panelists, I'm very proud of our team and all of the efforts we're making. Where I stand with our mindsets change, I usually always tell people I don't look at anything from a 60,000 foot level. I want to go down to grassroots. Mindset starts with self. Self meaning when you dream, how do you bring that dream to reality? I'll give you two examples of what I do and where I stand and how you live your truths that will change the next person. I'm not sure who's on Facebook recently, but one of the things that I have started doing is promoting our culture. Again, when you start letting people see the pride in your culture, in your being, in your people, I don't see much of the clothing out there that I like. My own kind of clothes. I'm very conservative, but I'm not going to wear foreign clothes anymore. I want to wear mostly African clothes. I want to wear clothes that are daily clothes, things that I can wear on a daily basis for parties, for all of those things. Can I find them in African wear fabrics? No. The designers don't quite design for me because as women, you all know, we have different body types. I bring these things that we are used to on a daily basis because you eat, you clothe yourself every day, and you go places. Now, these are things that we can leverage to take advantage of. What did I do? Because I cannot find what I want out there, I designed it for myself. And then I find a tailor or two who can sew it. And if it looks good on me, I'm going to show it off. When I show it off, the message I'm passing on to people is, this is from my culture. This is our tradition. Embrace my culture, same way I embrace the other person's own. I am proud of the things where I come from. I'm proud of the clothes I wear. And as a result of that self-bragging, designing, amateurism that I've been doing, I have picked up 30 orders for those garments that I posted on Facebook. I do not sew. What I'm going to do is take that order, those orders that I have and leverage our Cameroonian tailors. I have sent messages to the 2 or 3 tailors who sewed for me, and I've sent messages to other people to say, look, I have quite a few orders for this type of garments. Can you figure out how to start manufacturing or sewing garments like this? Create a template for size measurements that we can use and leverage. People love the outfits. That is creating opportunity. That is providing business for the local tailors who would otherwise not have had anything. That's 30 outfits that are probably going to be equivalent to approximately 200 times 30 is what? 200 times 30. Those are just the beginning of the orders. So that's when you do things, you start with self and you create opportunities and you tell them why you're creating the opportunities. They expand their businesses, and then they also have a mindset of hiring more youth, teaching more people how to sew these clothes, and actually being proud of our culture and things that we do. That's number one. Number two, one of the other aspects that I say we start with self is all of us are not staying here by want or by wish or whatever it is. There's a lot of reasons why we're out in the diaspora and doing the things we do. But we cannot pretend that we don't want the same things for ourselves. Have you ever tried to ask yourself why you would live in the United States, enjoy all of the amenities, live in the United Kingdom, enjoy all of the automated amenities, yet go back to your own country, Cameroon, and right in front of your own house is the biggest pothole? And when you ask, you would say, oh, we're waiting for government to come and fix it. Oh, the country and the leadership is not fixing the road. Let me tell you my approach to that. My approach to that is because I, as a Cameroonian, I want to go to my country and live there. I was fortunate enough to acquire a small piece of property somewhere in a small neighborhood. So I'm working on that. And again, it's not news to everybody. Everybody's building something or some project at the time. I have a home in which I live. I can sleep and I may never even see that home. However, if I'm going to build over there, I want to build in the way that makes sense. So what did I do? I found out other people who have properties around the area. And I noticed that I knew a few people who owned land and property around the same area. Reached out to 1 or 2 of them and told them, how about we create a community or a neighborhood, sort of the same things we have out here, HOA. Can we create a neighborhood, a community forum, whereby we can decide on the things that we want in our community? When I started the group, it was 3 of us in the group. I am very proud to say we're 35 strong members in the group right now. And some of the projects we've come up with are, we need to ensure that all of our neighbors are building with certain structural guidelines. Number 1, drainage in the area. We all know what property is like. I mean, we look at these things and think they're aesthetics. They're not. When people's homes are damaged, it's because we have not paid attention to certain things. You get a strong community from the pride that you get in your neighborhood. Starts with one family, extends to the community, extends to the village, and it's an entire country after that. So what we've decided is we're creating a framework of what we think is priority in our neighborhoods. If you've already built and you did not factor in drainage, we're looking for ways in which we can make that drainage system work. If you are still to build, we're telling you, please build and factor in drainage in this manner because of so and so, maybe because the way the land is laid out. Next thing, security, which is a big issue in our country. Not everybody can afford uniformed security guards in their neighborhoods. So what do? We work as a team and as a neighborhood to find out ways in which, if we need to contribute, we contribute. If some people are always not going to go with the plan, but for those who can, when the first 2 people install their 1 or 2 street lights in front of their own neighborhoods and their homes, guess what? The next ones see it, they like it, and they're going to go install a street light in front of it. What do? By doing that, we're giving work to the neighborhood youths and the people around there. One of the initiatives that we have is to create garbage cans. Cameroon has a system where they pick up trash. They provide bags for people to provide trash in them, I think every other day or something of the sort. We'll leverage on top of that opportunity. We want to create garbage cans that we'll place outside. Same things, same amenities you enjoy over here. We'll look for a local community that can create plastic or metal garbage cans that we can place in each neighborhood and name it our community neighborhood. Again, I'm saying using all of these examples, which are personal examples, to show that each and every one of us is capable of making a huge change in their community. When you do it, people come along. Not everyone is going to jump onto the band with you on the day one, but as they see the results of these small initiatives, they come along. And those opportunities and initiatives provide businesses, opportunities for youth, changes their mindset, whether they like it or not, because they learn and they see that things can be done differently, and they're the ones doing it. Those are my 2 cents on how you can change your mindset from a small perspective.
Thank you, Judith. That was a big perspective. That was a great perspective. As Madelo put in the chat, taking personal responsibility for growth in our own little way is key, and it's powerful. And you just outlined how important it is for us to start with self to be able to have this change. And at this point, I'm going to call on Tabitakang. TK, the floor is yours. What is mindset change to you, and how do we come about it?
Hello, Mama. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, TK?
Well, fine, thank you. Thank you for asking. Where do I start? For fear of being repetitive, because like minds who are currently on the panel have said a whole lot about this thing. I just wanted, about a year or so ago, I was one of those who had received an invitation from this group, and it piqued my curiosity. I attended 1, 2, 3 shows, and before I knew it, I was hooked. And for me, the aha moment was basically, for far too long, I belonged to this generation of Anglophones who moved over from west to east in the late 60s and 70s. And then I found myself out of the country some 30-something years ago. And for far too long, I had been in my silo. I call it my silo. I'm just doing my thing. And then we were experts at diagnosing the problems in our motherland. We knew the problems from A to Z, and nobody was doing anything about them. So fast forward, I find this group of folks who are talking about not being part of the problem, but being part of the solution. And it was my time, I think, my opportunity to dust myself and get engaged, educate, engaged, and all whatnot, which are the things that this group stands for. And so that's what it's all about, to at some point in time in your life, when, again, I'm going to speak for my generation, you begin to want to say, what's my purpose? What's my legacy? And I have contributed so much to a foreign country, my current host country, and I think it's time to take that back home to my motherland, okay? And so that's what it means for me, is to just change, to just think about things that, I don't want to wait on somebody else to come fix the problem I have so aptly diagnosed. I can do it myself. And I start with the individual, as people have talked about, trying to figure out what that problem is. I'm going to start, my little neighborhood, my little whatsoever, and try to make a change, provide an opportunity for a younger version of me, probably who's in Cameroon right now, who has all the aspiration, has all the time. Encourage that person and link them up to somebody who has done it already someplace else. We're not trying to create stuff. We're just trying to replicate it. It's easier right now. So that's what it is for me. That's what this whole conversation is for me. It's nice and great to find kindred spirits to team up with and to create that critical mass that can make a change. Just imagine yesterday, I think it was the day before yesterday, I got invited to a group of us kids whose parents grew up in Yaoundé. I think they count about 200 or so of them on that forum right now. And I'm thinking, if we just became a little bit much more purposeful after the emotional how are you alls and got into some kind of a project. We were talking about neighborhoods that we grew up in. We could change and transform each of those neighborhoods, right? In a meaningful way, if we teamed up and decided to do some kind of a project. You also, I think we've shared in our group here what the Kenyans are doing, what people in other African countries are doing. We have the wherewithal, we have the capacity to do the same thing. What are we waiting for? So for me, mindset change is the aha moment, the wake up call to dust yourself, to do something about it already. Stop complaining, do something, just do it. That's what it is for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, TK, for that wonderful insight. And you just nailed it again. For those who were not here when we talked earlier, TK just emphasized how loving we are again of our heritage. That is why we are here on I Am Cameroon. As he said, most of us have moved out of the country. We're in the diaspora, but we have not forgotten where we came from. And I remember saying we need to know who we are to be able to go to where we are going. And that is crucial for us to have, not to have a passive reaction, as I said earlier, to what is not working, but to be engaged in actions that are going to take us forward. Unlike it is when we team up together and jubilate because the Indomitable Lions won a match. I think we have to build that same spirit that we have when we come together as one. We are all expressions of one. We are all the oneness that we will need for us to be able to go forward. I'm going to call on Sally right now. Sally, I'm going to call you, and after Sally, I'm going to call on Phil. Sally, so let's just hear your perspective on what mindset change is.
Thank you, Mamwa. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. So I have been part of I Am Cameroon for quite some time now. I'm just here fidgeting with my camera. I've been part of I Am Cameroon for quite some time now, and it is amazing to see the change that the organization has been able to impact so far. And when it comes to shifting our mindset, I think that has been one of the core values of I Am Cameroon since the beginning. It's always been, okay, we understand that there is a problem. We've spent years and years debating on what the problems look like, the different colors of the problems, where they come from, but what are we doing? And so a group of people came together and decided to do something about it. And I feel like I will probably just give a recycled talk here from everyone else that has spoken before me. It starts with self. It starts with you. What can you do around you to make a difference? We all know the existing problems. We know there's no light, there's no electricity. We know the lack of potable drinking waters. We know the lack of medical facilities. We know, we've been talking about it for decades. Okay, so what do we do? And personally, I get tired sometimes to hear about the complaints and everything. It's like, okay, I get that. You know, times are hard, things are hard, but like, what can we do? What can you do? So on my part, I feel as though it starts as little as not even organizing people in your community, but it starts as little as picking up the trash, you know, pick up that banana peeling that you dropped while you're walking, help an elderly person cross the road. So it's just little things that we do to make a change. The United States or Europe was not built by magic. Someone did not just snap their hands like Thanos in one of those Marvel movies and things appeared or things disappeared. It started from somewhere. So on my part, I reside in the state of Iowa. So I have been able to kind of see past the differences and try and be part of a committee that brought Cameroonians together. And one thing that I noticed when we were reaching out to people individually, be like, hey, you know, we don't have a community of like Cameroonians here who are working together to make a change in our community first, because like it or not, this is our community too. We live here. Some of us are not going to go back home for the next decade or two. So you might as well start doing something for your brothers and sisters that are here first. And then collectively, you can look at what is going on back home. So the rhythm, or I want to say algorithm, but don't mind my technicalities. The rhythm I noticed was when we reached out to people, everyone had the same complaint. Oh, I don't want to associate with Cameroonians because of this reason or that reason. Oh, I don't want to go close to Cameroonians because of this reason or that reason. And I'm saying, We're all saying the same things. You're all saying the same things, but we need to see how we can make this better. Why do you think you cannot be in a community with other Cameroonians? And long story short, I'm very convincing. We were able to convince these people to get together and be part of something bigger. So right now we are working on smaller projects that impact our community directly here. And when we start with the people that are closest to us, they will therefore transfer that knowledge back home. No one is going to save us. Like TK said, no one is going to save us. Not a big corporation, not a big NGO, not some foreign government. We have to do it by ourselves. On this show, I have seen some phenomenal people. I've seen some very talented people whom they did not want money. All what they wanted was an opportunity. All what they wanted was a spotlight to showcase what they already have or what they have been working on. So if you are on this call, I challenge you today to look around and see what you can do. What is the person down your street? Who's the person down your street that you can help? I guarantee you there's someone there maybe manufacturing something really nice, maybe to help, pot your plants or maybe to clean the floors or something. Seek out these services and try to see how you can promote them. And also have a change of mindset, have a change of thoughts about our country. We all have I'm going to say this, the majority of us don't really have good things to say about Cameroon. I love Cameroon. I love the noise. I love everything about it. I love the fact that I can walk to the junction and go to Mami Puff Puff and buy my puff puff and beans. I love the fact that I can go to the marketplace and make conversation with someone that I've never seen before just because I wanted to buy ginger or some other condiment that I needed for my food. So I love that sense of community, and we need to foster that. It starts with us. We need to change the way we talk about Cameroon. We need to change the way we think about Cameroon. Cameroon is not that horrible. I've seen much more worse. I've seen places that are way worse than Cameroon. So if we start talking in positive light about Cameroon, this is how we invite more people to start seeing Cameroon differently, and also people that are not even part of the country to also see the country different. Stop talking about how bad your country is. Every country has it bad. Every country has a ghetto. Every country has this. Every country has that. Ours just seem a little different because that is where we hail from. And I know that we all want good things for Cameroon. So let's just start with that. Start saying the positive things. I have so many good things to say about Cameroon, especially from where I hail from. There are rivers, there are lakes, so many good things. The food is amazing. The people are amazing. There's bad people everywhere, trust me, but the good ones make the difference. So it starts here. Start thinking positively, see what you can do in your community, get together, carry out projects, and just go from there and see what happens. Thank you.
Thanks, Sally. Thank you so much for that input. And as you said, we really cannot seek acceptance from the world if we cannot team up together.
Yep.
And I will re-emphasize that I Am Cameroon is an apolitical, non-partisan movement which is aimed at getting the best minds in Cameroon to be able to make change in our community. And we're here because of the deep love we have for each other and for our neighbors. We all know how close-knit we are as a people. We cannot let other people tell us that we are failures because we have the potential to be winners. Is somebody challenging me there? I would love that. So we would love to hear from our audience today. Please do enter your feedback on the chat or the Q&A section. We just want people to question us about I Am Cameroon, challenge us, ask us what I Am Cameroon is, because I've talked to a few Cameroonians who have a problem with the name of I Am Cameroon, and it is our heritage. That is where we are. That is who we are. That is where we have to understand that we have problems that we have to overcome. So at this point, I'm going to call on Phil. Phil, what does mindset change mean to you?
Well, Mom, I think That's an excellent question. I always love talking about the mind, but I just want to piggyback with Sally here. Sally, you just made me remember Angela's Morocco Amiondo in Down Beach in Gardens. She had the best Morocco, and it's priceless. Not to talk of Abanes Fufuanero, or you know down at around Half Mile area. Just a beautiful place, right? There's no place like home. There is definitely no place like home. Now, this woman who used to sell puff puff and beans at Chumbo around GRA boutique, right? And that place was full. A lot of my friends who used to go there, that was a hangout spot. But today, it's a different story, right? We're looking at 20 years back, 30 years back, and from a mind change perspective, I'll go back to our very good book, right? Romans 12:2, right? Where it says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of our mind, right? We need new thinking. We need to look at things and say, how can we improve? How can we get better? There is hope. There is something new for us in this perspective. And as a Cameroonian, right, I can sit here and talk and complain and wonder, but that's not the perspective. That's not the approach. We need to sit back and say, what can we do? Everybody has said it. It starts with the mind. And I agree. And that's why Albert Einstein rightly put it. The thinking that brought me this far has created a problem that same thinking cannot solve. Brothers and sisters, it's so easy to sit on the sidelines of life and say how bad things are. It's so easy to remember what did not go right. But the more we're doing that, the more we're staying in the same spot. In your own little way, you could make a difference. It could be you creating an HOA or a housing association around your neighborhood. It could be you going out and saying, hey, let's clean. It could be you coming up with this great idea to go back home and say, you know what, I'm going to start an agricultural school. I'm going to come up with this pattern like the Roland. It could be you, for example, my very good friend, a good story where somebody graduated from the university, found himself in a farm as a manager. From the farm, he said, no, I can keep moving, went to the university, got himself a degree as a counselor, came back in the very same school that he got his degree from and felt stuck at one point in time to go from a university graduate to a farm manager and become a counselor in that school. That's transformational. And everybody, we can have that story for ourselves. We could look at our lives and say, what is it? Even the guy on the ground, there is something you can do. I always believe, Mama, everybody here came with a purpose. And God put you where you are for a reason. There's greatness in every single Cameroonian. These are the smartest people I've ever met. But at some point, we need to recalibrate that mind to say, hey, my surrounding does not define me. I'm going to look for an opportunity to bring out this gift that is in me and serve it to the world. Today, I see guys like Coach Till, right? Being a motivational speaker, inspiring people, right? I see this guy, great guy who's created an app called Bayam, right? These are folks in their own little way, in that capacity. So my dear brothers and sisters in the diaspora, if the people back home are making such a difference, could we also change our mindset? Can we join them? Because we are here in the comfort of our nice homes, air conditioning in the summer, heater in the winter, full fridge, refrigerator stocked up. We even have 2 or 3 refrigerators. Some of you even have some in your garage. But we complain. What about the guys who are on the ground? But they have hope. They are not optimistic. You know, optimistic is looking at a situation and saying, well, this will work. Hope is no matter what it is, I believe it will work. And they are pushing. Can we join them? And that's why I live and breathe I Am Cameroon Mama. I believe in the vision of Ariel Benson because ever since I plugged in, I saw something that he saw. I saw something that every board member here has seen too. That's why I call on everybody. It's not something you can define. You can't explain it. It can only be experienced. Join us, experience it. And then you will get up every day and ask, how can I make a difference in Cameroon? Kenya is no different. They were like us. They thought about like us and made a change. Uganda, Ghana. Can Cameroon also be that same case study? Today we have Cameroonians playing in the NBA. Joel, Christian, Pascal. Could you ever have thought about a thing like that? Change is happening, my folks. But the biggest thing is the guys on the ground need our help. Sometimes they don't need money. They need coaching. A platform like this, we bring them together, join us. I don't care how wonderful an expert you are. Your gift is not for you. Your gift is for you to share to the world. A mango does not bear fruit for itself. It bears fruit for children, for people to pass and pick and eat and appreciate its beauty. Help us. Let's help you. Let your light shine. Let that gift be appreciated by your brothers and sisters, your aunties, your uncles, your mothers. So, Mama, mindset change is us Cameroonians going back and looking at our lives on how we can make a difference. Join I Am Cameroon. This is it. There's no other way. This is where that change is happening. Thank you.
Absolutely, Phil. I could not have put that better. Just to summarize what you said, so generalizations stemming from our individual experiences and reality does not, and I repeat, does not define the reality of an entire collective. Let's put our differences aside. I mean, we keep talking about how we are trying to be recognized by the world. We're trying to see how we can make things different. The truth is our reality is dictated by the will of those who hold their power above us or over us. But remember, I Am Cameroon is apolitical. We are trying to get the best minds to be able to make that change. And at this point, I'm going to call on Bambotwana. Bambino, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mamwa, and thanks everybody for giving me the chance to talk. So listen, I am an educator, and so this topic speaks to me very profoundly. And as an educator, what we seek to do is to change people's ways of thinking, to move them from what they think is not possible to what is possible. We move people from the unknown to the known, and to explore. So to me, a mindset means look at yourself and see what you can set differently, what you can tweak in your mind so your mind can work differently, not for your own good, but for the good of the masses around you. I keep saying, if you are not working to make people's lives better, you're not working. So I take this simple example. I go to Cameroon and I see people living in massive houses, no roads, no streets, nothing. I keep asking myself, there's sewage around the houses where they live in. So they have this one house, which is gorgeous, beautiful, everything, but there's no road to go there. There's no drainage, nothing. And so I'm telling to myself, this guy has all the money. He can never be totally healthy because there's mosquitoes around him. He can never be totally rich because there are poor people around him. And I'm just saying to me, what if with all the millions and hundreds of millions you have, what if you just spread it around your neighborhoods in ways of, say, just digging a trail, a gutter around the neighborhoods and declog them from the mosquitoes so you can even live well? You live in this big mansion and you have gates and you have a gate, a police officer, whatever you call them around your house. You're not even safe in your own, you become a prisoner where you are. You go to work and you work in a place which is so filthy. And I'm asking myself, why can't we just say, as a mindset, get the mindset change where I would leave my place of work better than I met it. What that means is, if you went to that place and the building was crumbling, can you do something to fix that building? If the painting, the facade was dirty, can you at least paint that facade? If the morale of your work was not good, what can you do to uplift the morale of your workers? Make something, leave your place of work better than you met it. Why don't you serve people rather than ask to be served? Why is all of this? If you bring yourself down to be so humble to the point where you see something good in every person and lead by example. So what stops the director of a company from, say, going to his office and maybe cleaning up his own office? What stops somebody, a director of a company or whatever, or a minister or whoever, even you as a teacher, from getting into your own classroom or your place of work and just keeping it a little bit clean and leaving it clean for the others? So to me, those are the things we have to do. Be humble about stuff. Leave your place better than you met it. Let anybody who comes to you, who interacts with you, become better when he leaves or she leaves you. See opportunities where others see problems. Because every time you take a flight to Cameroon, that flight is full of Europeans and Asians going into that same country we condemn. And they are making a heck of a living out there. And we complain that, oh, these people are coming to take our stuff. But why aren't you engaged there? It's up in the mind. We got to tweak how we think about things and realize that where you see things as impossible, others see it as possible. And they're running with it. In your own house, we keep complaining there's corruption in Cameroon. How do these people become corrupt? You can start by teaching your kids in your house, say, well, look, if you go to work, these are my expectations of you. Treat people like you want to be treated. Treat people with dignity and respect. If somebody gives you that money, say, no, I will do it for you without the money still. And stuff like that. These are simple things we can do that if everybody does those simple things in every single community, we will be moving that country way faster than we can think. And the money is not the issue. We, the diaspora, can every month say $100, and we can change that country in 5 years. But we need to get this up here straight first. Do we believe we can do this thing? If we believe, then we can do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that insight, Bambino. That is very poignant. And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to crave your indulgence. We're already at the top of the hour. If you could just bear with us for another 10 minutes, please. We have very important information and discussions that we need to share with you. At this point, we're just going to run a video to actually emphasize the power of I am.
What are the two most powerful words in the English language? The two most powerful words in the English language are I am. Because what comes after I am will shape your life. What you speak after, I am. What you believe after, I am, will control your decisions and shape your life. If you believe you are powerful, if you believe you are capable of achieving great things, you will attempt great things. If you speak into your life resilience and determination to overcome anything, you will be ready to face and overcome anything. Let the power of I am shape your life in the most powerful way. What you speak after I am, what you believe after I am, will control your decisions and shape your life. If you believe you are powerful, if you believe you are capable of achieving great things, you will attempt great things. I am powerful. I am strong. I am successful. I am an achiever. I am abundant. I am rich. I am determined. I am focused. I am disciplined. I am health. I am wealth. I am. I am. I am beautiful. I am wise. I am capable of anything. I'm someone who makes things happen. I am a powerful creator. I am filled with faith. I am blessed. I am grateful. I am a miracle. I am connected. I am God. I am more than my body. I am a powerful spirit. I am ready. I am focused. I'm a fighter. I'm more than enough. I'm a winner. I'm a champion. You can't just speak the words. You must feel them. And you must believe them. Repeat them every day. Let them soak into your subconscious. Let the power become one with you. Ali said, I am the greatest, and he became the greatest. Are you ready to be great? I am. I am.
I am, and I am Cameroon. Velveeta says, I am a winner. We are all winners. I am Cameroon. And at this point, I'll pass it over to Array. Cameroon, I am, and I am Cameroon. You're muted, Array.
Thank you very much, Mamwa. Yes, I am, and I am Cameroon. My name is Ariel Benson. I am Cameroon. Just before I go into how you can get involved, let me just say this as we talk about mindset change. When the pandemic came and COVID hit, I remember saying that let's get together, we'll raise $250,000 and we'll play our part in the fight against COVID. Then it looked like a pious dream. Then it looked like something that couldn't be accomplished. But this group, because we believed in what we were doing, we raised $250,000. We raised more than $250,000. We had $50,000 in cash and $250,000 in contributions to Cameroon. The last I checked, the biggest gift that was given to the Cameroon government was from UBA Bank. It was $150 million. And we, this group, gave the biggest gift to Cameroon. We did it because we believed in it, because we said we can do it. Everything that has happened on planet Earth, out of the desert sands rose a place called Dubai that we all go to. That 60 years ago on the streets of Korea, people were dying out of hunger. That Japan was bombed flat after the Second World War. It's now one of the leading economies in the world. That just a few years ago, we saw the genocide in Rwanda, and everybody thought that was hell on earth. And now it's the country that we all look forward to and point to. That we're looking at countries like Botswana and Ghana leading transformation for the next generation of Africans. All of this came out of ideas, people with the same gifts that we have, people with the same faculties that we have, that have the ability to dream of something that is bigger than what they see today. And too often, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to travel the world and see countries that have emerged out of nothing to something. But in those my travels, what I've seen in our own community is just our great ability to cling on to the past and hang on to the burden of what today presents, that we fail to see what tomorrow can represent. And whether we're on this journey in the wilderness, and just a few of us, we have to keep going, because it is only those few people that keep going that are going to turn the tides of what is possible. So mindset change lives in each one of us. The future of the country that we aspire is an imagination that we have in each one of us. If we do not give ourselves that ability to imagine something bigger, something different, then we cannot walk into a future that is different. We will be stuck in this past. And for many of us, we may not see this in our lifetime. We may not have the Cameroon that we dream of. But it's incumbent on us, irrespective of what we do for a living, to play our part in ensuring that that place that is where most of us in my generation were born and had education from becomes an aspiration, becomes the realization of the aspirations that we have for that country. We will abdicate that responsibility if 10, 15 years from now, we're still stuck in the same challenges that we faced 10, 20 years ago. But I refuse to be part of those people who are stuck in the past. I would jump into a future that is very different and aspire for a Cameroon that can provide good quality drinking water for every child that is born, education for every hamlet across, good quality education for every hamlet and village, hospitals, roads, infrastructure. Nothing for us to envy the West, to build a Cameroon that is different. But for us to do that, we have to get together. There's 4 million Cameroonians in the diaspora. How much contribution we're making to the rest of the world but Cameroon? And if we just came together, if we could just put aside this different shades of political views and ethnic divisions that we put on ourselves, and just imagine something different. We can put a man on the moon if we fix our minds to it. And that's what the mindset changes. I can't give it to you. You have to find it. Come with us on this journey. That's what I Am Cameroon does. And if you're wondering how you can become part of this movement, if you have your phone and want to join us, you can use the QR code on it and join this movement. All we're trying to do is build a platform that we can work together. It would cost you only $100 a year and your time and your mind for us to get you there. There are 5 ways in which you can be involved. You can become a member, become a supporter, become a champion, become an advocate, do the things that are necessary for us to build this movement, for us to get it stronger. It only stands to benefit every one of us. So now the question is, what will you do to bring change? That's up to you. That's up to each one of us. I'll turn this over back to Mamwa to talk about our next steps.
Thank you, Ari. So, Ari, every time I listen to you and listen to the panelists, and we've had discussions about what I Am Cameroon is, you just tend to see how we can put our minds together and just move forward. We cannot be stuck the way we are today. So our next Diaspora Annual Meeting will be on the 24th of June, 2023. Please do save the date. We'll be reminding you in the course of our subsequent shows about this upcoming event that we're going to have in Washington, D.C. It is crucial and imperative that you should attend if you're around the area. We'll also try to make sure that we have those who are not physically in Washington, D.C. take part in the discussions. All we're trying to do here is trying to build our communities. Let us not let our past turn us into victims or poison our hearts at the sight of positivity. Let us journey together on the I Am Cameroon movement. Let us do everything we can, use our minds, use our abilities, use our talents to be able to go forward. I am very, very glad to see that our audience is still captivated by our discussions, but unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show. It's not unfortunate though, it is actually a good thing that we have come to the end of the show. There's still a lot to be talked about. Please do join us in 2 weeks. We look forward to having you on November 12th for our next show, where we'll be talking about crucial ways on how we can make the change that we need. I would like to thank all the panelists for their involvement during the Tour de Table. It has been a pleasure to have you here on the I Am Cameroon, and please do join us in 2 weeks for us to make our communities we can be proud of. Let us build our future and the future of future generations. That is it from us on I Am Cameroon today. It's been a pleasure having you here. Have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday and have a beautiful, beautiful week. See